Hey, welcome back to the leans, the locks. Whatever it is that we give out, that's our number one play. That's what you need to know. As far as emphasis or confidence is concerned, if there's a play in a game, which we're going to go through every single game, trust us, or at least me. You can trust Lindy Monday through Friday. Me, you're stuck with on the weekends. It's going to be a heavy emphasis play. It's going to be a super confident play. And that's going to throw something out there to throw something out there. And if it isn't a lineup on the game, well, then we'll give you a lean, of course. What we ask in return, thumbs up, subscribe. I'm going to give you a bunch of stuff, including, as you can see below, this awesome opportunity at BetMGM. So right away, you should know that we're giving out 21 or older gambling problem, as you know, call 1-800-GAMBLER. 2 free months of the Discord. I'll tell you about that. Your first bet's back up to $1,000. Look, first game on the board I have here for you. It's a YRFI play in the Angels-Rays game. And go ahead, put up to $1,000 on that. If it misses, you're going to get your money back. If it hits, well, you just did a massive bet. You see, either way, you're pretty much covered. You hit it, it's a great bet. You miss it, well, you get it back in your account as a bonus bet. Not bad. Let's start up. First play on the board, Detmers versus Alek Manoah. Look, Reed Detmer's great. The 29.4 K rate, the 315 xWOBA. He's pitching okay to good more often than not. Alek Manoah is still a mess. It's just so difficult to ignore. The K to walk ratio is nearly 1-to-1. That's brutal. And as we continue and go throughout here, just know that this is an opportunity, and we'll find them, but this is an opportunity for us, at least, to attack a bad pitcher. We know about that Angels lineup. We know just how difficult they can be, even with guys banged up. And credit, right? It's Mickey Moniak and others who have stepped in and helped with the lack of productivity. No need to do much more here. Right away, we're going to open up with a YRFI play. All right, Marlins, Tigers next up. Let's look. Because this game also features, if it's Baez or Vierling, an area of attack. We know Miami has just been struggling, clearly. We also know that you make a move with David Robertson, who should be available now. This has just been a bad pitching matchup as a whole. And you start to look now at both of these teams. What are you really going to get? Like, truly, what are you really going to get? The fact that we've adjusted this matchup, I thought it was Brisky and the other cat there from Miami, but the fact that this matchup has now been adjusted, and you do see Matt Vierling and, Javi Baez, some hitting props here. Arias, I don't know what I want to do here with anything hitting-wise. I think, in fact, I'm going to stay away from all that and looking at this brutal pitching matchup of Brisky and Johnny Cueto, I'm just going to go under. Under is the play here. I don't want to mess with anything. I don't want to force anything by any means. I think we just stay under here and keep that sucker moving. All right, Phillies, Pirates, as you see. If it's not on the BetMGM, then we'll make sure that we're going to cover it. Phillies, Pirates is next up. Look, we just saw the Phillies sneak by on a Zach Wheeler start. Aaron Nola. Pirates are not awful in the sense, you can look at what's going on here with the Pirates, 45-57. They are marginally okay. And now you got the Priest up on the mound. The Priest going up against Aaron Nola. This is just a really difficult matchup. The Phillies have been pushed even higher at -178. It was a super low-scoring game. That's kind of what you get with Zach Wheeler. In this case, though, I'd be willing to even go first 5 if you wanted, like to go over the total in the first 5 innings. That might be a better play, actually, with Nola still on the mound. All right. So let's go over 5.5, first 5 inning total. The Priest is going to get lit up. We know that. And the other side of this is simply the Phillies bats, as I mentioned with Priest. But also, Aaron Nola is going to have an inning. He's going to have one of those bad innings. And that's going to be rough, at least to see 3 runs in that inning cross. So with that, we're going to roll over 5.5 now. All right, we keep it moving, as mentioned. Next up, Guardians, White Sox. Look, this game here, as you see, it's not on the board. That's fine. So this is going to be, the pitching matchup is going to be what we're focusing on the most. And the thing about the White Sox, as bad as it's looked and as bad as it's felt, I'm sure, across the board, right? This more of a lean here for me in just rolling with the better pitcher. We're still waiting to see what's going on with the White Sox because trade and all. Logan Allen is fine here, 23.7 to 7.8 K to walk rate. He's going to get hit a little bit, but I also think that, clearly Cleveland has the better hitters overall. Jake Berger, though, is on a tear. I might have to just play a Jake Berger home run at this point. But we're going to roll Cleveland here. And the play is, as you see the Guardians on the road as the favorite, most likely, right? The play here, until we even get the pitching matchup, the lean here would just be to take the Guardians. We'll see what the pitching matchup dictates. If it is a more of a run line scenario, then we're going to have to take them on the run line. But right now, at least we're leaning Cleveland in some capacity. At 500, I don't know how much they're going to be laying as a road favorite, but I'm willing to take them at the very least. It's just a matter of what happens with the lineup and most likely who they're facing as far as the pitcher, right? That's why they're off the board. Nats, Mets, we'll get to that in a second. Twins, Royals is next up. This is another one here, as you see, where we're just waiting. We just play the waiting game. That's fine. No issue there because, again, the biggest thing that we like to do in these matchups is, especially ahead of time, look at the pitching matchup. Why is it off the board? Okay. It's probably elsewhere, so make sure you shop. Bailey Ober, 24.5 to 5 K to walk rate. Jordan Lyles, on the other hand, 16.6 to 7 K to walk rate. He's getting tagged. 344 x WOBA, 262 x batting average. On the flip side, Bailey Ober is just stellar right now. Just absolutely stellar. Royals have some Ks in that lineup. Melendez, Perez, Massey. Other guys who have played spot areas due to just rotation, injury, sending a guy down, if you will. I'm with it, man. Royals right now, they're going to get worked. I would actually, and again, it's not on the board right now, but I would look hard at Bailey Ober's Ks. And I would go over Bailey Ober's Ks for this next one here. I just don't know what Kansas City has against Minnesota. Probably not much. All right, now it's the Nats Mets. We're back on the board here. We're back in business. Thank you very much. Nats Mets here. What are we going to do? 9.5 total runs. Okay, 9.5 total runs. Here's the other part of it. If you're just looking at this Mets team trying to revive itself, selling, though, which is not fantastic, the Tommy Pham stuff, whatever it may be. Here come the Nats with Patrick Corbin on the mound. Carlos Carrasco on the other side. Neither one of these guys are doing anything right. Nothing right. In fact, Patrick Corbin's 6.7 walk rate is about the only thing good between the two of these guys. So if you want to play in this game, let's see how fast these bats can move. Again, we're looking at a first 5 total here. And I'm willing to take a shot at over 5.5. By all means. That would be the one for me. So I think the better thing overall would be to make sure that you can get that value. And that's where the value is, at 5.5. So let's roll with it. All right. Over 5.5 first half. Neither one of these pitchers have any value or worth backing. I'm going to take this at plus money. Now, as I mentioned, let's take a break here for a second and we'll run through these games. As I showed you here, your first bet up to $1,000 is back in your account if you miss it. So we just put 4 plays out, right? If you ran this as your first bet on BetMGM and you just put up to $1,000, it doesn't have to be. It could be $100. It could be $101, anywhere from $10 to $1,000. All right. These 4 plays, if you ran this as a parlay and you hit it, which we will, you're taking home $1,200 more than that, $1,200 on a $101 bet. Now, you want to put more than that in there, $610, whatever it may be, that's fine. You can see the math being done. That's why we tell you about this BetMGM thing, because we want you in, okay? Because I want you in. That's why. Unbelievable. We have something here for you for free. We're just begging you to take advantage of it. Red Sox Giants next up. All right. This one here in San Francisco. Late line added overnight. We still see the pitching matchup here with Paxton on the mound. Desclafani is tricky. Still not on the board, that's fine, but Desclafani becomes really tricky in this game where I don't want to overfade him by any means. So with Paxton probable tonight, on the road, this is actually a spot where if I can get the Red Sox, and this is the lean here, but if I can get the Red Sox at plus money, I'm all over it. All over it. I want the Sox in this game. I'm not going to take them on the run line because I know I'd be laying. But if I can get them at even money to plus 105 to plus 110 in this spot, with the better pitcher on the mound, and the only thing mitigating this matchup is that they're on the road, sign me up. All right? Red Sox money line is the lean. Cards, Cubs in St. Louis. This is another one here with Tyon and Wainwright where it would scream runs, right? I mean, look at that total. The over-under is at 10 right now. Oh, we do have that Twins-Royals game on the board. Cubs-Cardinals, though, with these two pitchers, and that total at 10, it dropped a little bit on BetMGM to 9.5. I'm still going to go under 9.5, folks. And I'm still going to bank on neither one of these pitchers just totally imploding. Like neither one of these guys just massively imploding and giving up 8 or 9 runs on their side, or at least the cause of it. I don't know if either one of these guys has the leash to give up 8 runs in a game. But the expectation, the heavy public expectation is just runs, runs, runs. I don't necessarily think you're going to see that, especially because both of these pitchers are so easy to fade. The reality is that you will see under 9.5. These offenses are going to struggle in general, let alone in this game with this matchup where the expectation is just show up and you're going to get hits. That stuff doesn't always work. Wells versus Schmitter. Baltimore, man, just a minus 125 on the surface favorite here against the Yankees. You know, the thing about Baltimore is how they've combined hitting for power, just mashing the baseball, not striking out as well. They just become such a difficult matchup in general. And while Schmidt is the better pitcher today, I don't think that's really up for debate. You know, look at this thing with Wells. Wells has pitched fine. I mean, Wells is a better pitcher, I'm sorry. But Wells has pitched fine here. And home starts for him have not been too much of an issue or concern. I think you're going to see again a game in which both of these pitchers are going to struggle. It's probably not going to be in the same inning, but Schmidt's going to have a difficult matchup just trying to hold back this aggressive Orioles lineup that does not strike out much. And Wells, look, you've got Judge back. You've got a little bit of an infusion, a boost into this lineup. We're going over 9. We're going over 9. We have to. We have no choice but to go over 9. Next up. Now, this game gets a little tricky here with this Rays-Astros game. Both of these guys on the mound have Ks for days behind them. Hunter Brown and Taj Bradley are dudes that can just show up and light you up on the mound. So now looking at this with Houston trying as the heavy favorite to hold off Taj Bradley and those bats, I mean, this is really, if you were taking Houston right now, this is really just a bet on Hunter Brown, is it not? I mean, you look at this, Houston's laying 140 against a guy with a ridiculous K rate. And that's the thing I love the most about anytime Taj Bradley is on the slate is that, all right, he could get hit and he may be able to give up a run or two. But ultimately, this is a guy where you're looking at 30.4 K rate. He can get out of some jams. He's not walking guys either. Hunter Brown, on the other hand, nothing knocking him, the 27.5 K rate, 309 XWOBA, but these are fine numbers. But if I'm getting Bradley on the road at plus money, even at plus 105, I'm interested. I'm interested because he's going to give his team enough time to hit the baseball. Brewers, Braves, we move on. Look at this one in Atlanta, where normally Atlanta's just dominant on the road. Now you've got the Brewers in town. So the play here is either going to be Atlanta on the run line or actually going over 10 runs. Is that possible? Can we get over 10 runs? Can you and I collectively get over 10 runs? I don't know. I really don't know. Julio and Bryce Elder are your pitchers. If it's just about striking people out, if the whole game here, can you get to 11 runs because neither one of these guys are striking anybody out? The answer is actually yes. Milwaukee has been playing well enough right now, overall, at least for me, to where I don't necessarily think I want to auto fade them. Say, oh, well, it's the Braves. It's the Braves. Yeah, well, look, the Brewers are still up top. I know they own that half-game edge over Cincy. This has been a rough stretch of games for them. I get it, where they've split their last 10. But still, Milwaukee, a good baseball team, not to really be taken lightly. And in this case, the way you bet that against a good team in Atlanta is simple. You go over 10 runs. There you go. With a push and play, mind you. Love that. All right, as you see, you got 4 more games to go. Seattle, Arizona. I'll tell you about the Discord, too. Woo and Fat. All right, Woo and Fat on the mound. Boy, you see, even with what Brian Woo has been able to do, it's if your team is not great, you're just going to lose starts. On the other side of this, even as great as Arizona has played, Fat just he can't really do much. So we've got this interesting dynamic here, and I think ultimately this game is just super close. That's really what you're looking at, I think, more than anything else. It's just a tight baseball game. Just a tight game. And you know what? Let's look at this here. Because the reality is, if it is, in fact, a 1-2 run game with some variance in the middle there, I'm not going to take Seattle at minus 125, nor, mind you, would I take the home team just because they're getting plus money. That's why Fat is in the house. I think there are 2 plays here. The run line on the entire game at plus 125. The better play for me is actually laying a half run for Seattle in the first 5. That's where I think you get more action. And that's where I think you can jump on Fat earlier and chase his ass out of this game. And now you're up by 2 or 3 runs. Arizona goes on a little run in the 3rd or bottom of the 5th, and it doesn't cut you out entirely. You still win the inning or the first 5 by a run. That's it. A's, Rockies. Still waiting on the Rockies right now. It does look like Paul Blackburn is in the house. My goodness, this game. I don't have much in this game. Colorado hosting. Okay, that's good. But outside of that, I mean, what are you getting in this game? Paul Blackburn is just not good, nor is the team that he's pitching for. I mean, this is just a disastrous matchup. Why are we even doing this game? Oakland's 29 wins. Colorado's got 40 wins. At least Colorado is looking somewhat respectable until you look at the run differential. A lot of that's playing in Coors Field, but I mean, my God, Oakland's is actually worse. Worse. Oh, boy. I mean, I guess we have to just go over here. That would be the lean, is just to go over here. Get this god-awful game off my screen, will you? Seriously. Who in their right mind wants anything to do with this? Rangers, Padres. You on the mound. Perez, this is a really tight matchup. Really tight matchup where some key or clutch hitting, if you will, is going to make the difference. Perez has been pitching fine. We all know about you, Darvish. This is another game here where I think you're going to see this tight. I don't think either pitcher, even with Martin Perez, the lack of Ks, his team is going to have to out-hit a struggle or two. And I don't think that we've seen this lights out you Darvish consistently. No, I think when you look at where these guys have been struggling, Tatis, Grisham, Carpenter, a couple of these guys on San Diego, there might be a spot here. By the way, on the other side of it, you Darvish is dealing with guys who, yes, they have some Ks in there, Young, Garcia, Duran, but they can hit the cover and just hitting for contact and power. We got to do it. We got to. We have to take the Rangers at plus 140 on the money line and win this game. As dogs. We're not even messing with the first five. Nothing like that. We're just rolling. Reds, Dodgers. Well, it's going to take a lot for Cincinnati. It really is. It's going to take a lot for this Reds team that just won last night to do it again. The problem when you go up against the Dodgers, you're on the road, you're taking on a team, and you explode for some runs, is you got to do it again. You don't have the benefit, as we've seen, of the ballpark. Huge win for them last night. Let's not take anything away from Cincinnati. But are you going to give them again with Luke Weaver on the mound? You know, we've faded Ed Sheeran way too often here. It's not going to be the case, especially with his 207 batting average. No way whatsoever. This is a run line play. You can run minus 1.5 in the first five, but I do think, look, Sheeran's going to give up a run or two. Ultimately, the Dodgers are going to Braves this game, where they need to put up 7 in the 7th just to make sure that Cincinnati doesn't come back and bury him. So be it. All right. On your way out, a reminder, and this is just an awesome thing here with BetMGM. Look, you're going to get 2 free months of the Discord. So I've already given you a parlay below. I've already given you an opportunity to put in your first bet, whatever it may be, of these and get it back in your account if you miss up to $1,000. But look at this. Eric Lindquist, that's why you're here, right? You're getting access to him for 2 free months. 2 free months. Ben, Eytan, Isaiah, we're there. But the community is there as well. You, really. It's not anything without you all there. That's why we want you.